Hello there.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your 21-year-old law and film student from Sydney, Australia, Ellie Moses. Hopefully you guys can come along, join my crew as we make our way through the YouTube galaxy. Today, back with a film review. Back at the theaters as well. Another week, another time at the theaters. It's become weekly again with the new releases. I am loving it. I am loving it. I love going to the movies. I don't care whether it's crap, bad. If the boys want to go again, I will see a movie 2-3 times. I love going to the theaters. It's an experience like no other. Today I went on my own, saw Wrath of Man, the new film from Ritchie starring Jason Statham. Let's give you my quick thoughts and review of it. This is going to be a non-spoiler review as I'm going to explain why. Usually I delve a little bit into spoilers or explain a few little things. But however, in this film, we meet Jason Statham, a man with his name, which I'm not going to say because I know a lot of my subscribers will actually really enjoy what his name is in the film, and that's just the thing between my subscribers and I. They're gonna really enjoy what his name is in the film. I don't know, I just enjoyed it. Like the whole time I just kept thinking of that one person every time. Signs up to a security company organization that does cash pickups and returns them to depots. Obviously, it's a dangerous job with a heavy target on the cash trucks and the armored trucks. It's basically GTA Heist, the film, with crimes, gangs involved, multiple attacks on these, multiple hits basically on these trucks as our big hero Jason Statham tries to take them all down, and we have to unpack his mystery throughout the film. As at the start of the film, when he's signing up to train for the security company, you don't understand what his motives are, what his reason. You think he's just new on the job, the new guy. He's really quiet. He doesn't say much. He has no motive. And that's got to do with the structure of the film as well, which I will explain soon. And then I'm just going to say at the beginning of the film, he's just like failing all his tests. Not failing, but he's just barely passing it. And he's like, one of the guy that's training him is like, "Oh, mate, you just got the 70% mark. You just barely passed, but it's good enough." And then when he goes full John Wick mode, like if you've seen the trailer, you know he's gonna go full John Wick mode, like ultra beast mode, headshots only. It's just like, yeah, there's more to this guy than just a man who's failing or just barely passing his security tests, like his shooting accuracy tests and everything. But as the film starts to unfold, guys, what really took me by surprise in this film is the structure of the film. I know I should know this, like I should be accustomed to this with Guy Ritchie's films. The structure of the film, I thought it was just going to be a normal standard film, and then it's set in chapters. It ends up being, I think, 4 chapters, and I'm not going to lie, I was really underwhelmed as a whole in this film. The first chapter was a really slow burn, and it was really hard to get through because I think the writing was really poor. The dialogue and delivery was really poor. Jason Statham is just playing Jason Statham in this film. It's like, if you like Jason Statham, like, you'll like Jason Statham in this film. It's just normal badass Jason Statham, you know, stern, no bullshit attitude, just taking it, no nonsense. Like, if he's angry with you, you're gonna cop it. And it's just Jason Statham being Jason Statham. But the other actors that play off Statham in this film, like a lot of the supporting cast, there was a few standouts from certain characters who I didn't even know, or certain actors who I didn't even know were in this film, and I was like, oh, that's a surprise. So I didn't really know that, so I'm not going to say who they are. But the supporting cast within, especially like the security supporting cast, like within the depot that work, Jason Statham, really poor. Guy Ritchie tried to insert a lot of quickie and quirky like dialogue and like sexual humor or like normal like slapstick humor within the first quarter, so the first chapter of the film. It really did not land. In fact, there was only one bit that landed. That wasn't even got to do with dialogue. It had to do with editing and how it was cut. And the dialogue was really poor. It really didn't land. I tried to be funny, but it did not mesh well with the tone of the film, because the tone of the film tries to be really serious. Like, it deals with some really dark stuff. Like, there's some dark themes touched upon with some of the gang crimes and everything, and it just doesn't fit at the start of the film. The dialogue, it's not like The Gentleman, where the dialogue fit the characters. You know, Hugh Grant's character always going to Charlie Hunter's character like, "Oh, don't tease me, Raymondo," and then it's like, he was always like, you know, Raymondo is just the way he's talking. Then Charlie Hunnam's character, full on gangster, and he's just like, when he's confronting the roadman, he's like, I love that scene. I absolutely, The Gentleman's like, "Oh, you think you're roadman, do you now?" And oh, that's a terrible accent. It's not that good. And he pulls out the MP5 on him. I was just like, I really love that scene. He's like, "You think you're hard, you're roadman." Oh, it's such a shit accent. Don't listen to that accent. That was terrible. I had it better. I can do it better, but it's not working. But yeah, the first quarter of the film, really tough to get through. And then as you start, what really got me into the film was after there was one scene that just before it cut to the second chapter of the film, and then after the second chapter, the massive time jump. And that's where the structure of the film happens, where you start to see the same scenes over and over again, just from a different perspective and from a different characters getting introduced. And that's how new characters start to get into the story after that act, and then much more gets to be explained. However, I think that story is a bit lackluster in terms of the world building, in terms of like establishing these other crime gangs, how Jason Statham got to his position, the world building, certain characters, he knows their capabilities. Some characters don't, like, their roles are not even explained at all. You sort of just have to try and assume what their positions are and what their status is and who they can control. There's a lot to be assumed. There's a lot left out. And there was one confrontation with Jason Statham and one of the characters at the depot, and I was just like, time jumps, and it's just like, she was fine with everything. I'm like, that's not how it would have gone, I think, if that had happened. Like, surely, yeah, something else would happen. Like, she would have told someone. It just didn't make sense. And even the third act as well. Even I actually really enjoyed the third act. The third act is really tense. Like, the final heist is actually really well shot, really planned out, some real tense moments. Like, you don't know, because there's so many characters introduced, you don't know who's working for who. You don't know who's going to turn on each other. You don't know what's going to happen. There's a lot of ambiguity in the third act, which I've really enjoyed, and I loved seeing it unpack and seeing unfold. And the sound design is absolutely fantastic with the gunshots. The gunshots were pulsating, like, they were really, really, really. It was like felt like I was playing Call of Duty with a headset on full blast. Like, the sound design of the gunshots were fantastic, and there's a lot of practical stuff in this film. However, I like the action sequences and everything. Like, a lot of practical stuff. I didn't think there was much CGI at all, like, or green screen. I didn't think there was much at all, and I really was underwhelmed as well. How they utilized Jason Statham in terms of his action hero prowess. Sorry. There's not much hand-to-hand combat with him involved. I think there's like one scene. I really would have liked to see more hand-to-hand combat, especially with the character of his capabilities. And he's just like, he's a full-on marksman. But I would have liked to see more hand-to-hand combat than just him running around with a gun. And just pinpointing everyone. It does become a bit stale. Everyone's like, headshot, headshot, headshot. Alright, there's nothing new. Like, none of the kills are creative or anything. But yeah, I was really underwhelmed by Wrath of Man. I know it sounds, sometimes there are moments to enjoy in this film. There are absolutely moments to enjoy. Like, once the mysteries start to unpack, and the second, I guess the middle of the film starts to showcase different perspectives on different scenes, it really starts to kick into gear. However, the cast is really poor. I found some of the performances really stale and boring. And Jason Statham is not the most charismatic person in this film. So it's not like The Gentleman, where you got constant characters performing different mannerisms and acting in certain different ways. And it's just engaging, and the dialogue's fantastic, and it feels natural. This film, I felt like the dialogue is really poor, and it just doesn't quite hit. It doesn't mesh well with the actors in this film as well. The actors really let it down, and that's why I felt like The Gentleman really succeeded, because of the actors and the performances and the writing. It worked, and the way they were portrayed, and that each character had its own unique style, and that's just the way they portrayed them on screen. And this film doesn't really have that. It felt really bland and boring. And even though I enjoyed some bits in the film, like there are moments to enjoy. I just found it really slow. And for a 2-hour film, it's a bit sub 2 hours as well, if you take into account credit. It felt like a real slow burner. And as you're constantly unpacking or rewatching same scenes just from a different perspective, I kind of got bored. That was just me. I just found the film, it looked bland. There was not much energy to it in the just for the first half of the film. Like the third act is actually really good. The final heist I really loved. I actually really enjoyed it. However, as the first quarter of the film, that first chapter is really slow, and the dialogue does not land at all, and there's a few plot points that are really unexplained, and as I said, the supporting cast really lets it down as well. But that's been my review, guys, for Rat the Man. I'm going to give it a ranking now. If you guys don't know how my ranking system works, it's based on Star Wars. So at the top, you have Grandmaster, then you have Jedi Master, then you have Jedi Knight, then you have Padawan, Youngling, and Trash Compactor. And Rat the Man, guys, does get the ranking of Padawan. Yes, unfortunately, I was a bit underwhelmed by this one. I don't know. I might see it again just to be a bit more laid back in my watch of it. I felt like maybe I was analyzing it too much on this watch. But yeah, that's what I meant to do. I meant to give you guys an honest review. I didn't want to spoil too much as well, because I didn't want to go into the details of how the structure of the film basically reveals really certain, really important, integral plot points and characters' motives and what happened at certain points, and really important moments for Jason Statham's character. But that's all I'm going to say, guys. It's been my review for Rat the Man, and it's been your boy, Ellie Moses. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed. As always, take care, God bless, and peace.